And then if I copy the link and see, because there's some confidential information. Where does it go back to?
Looks okay.
Looks all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's just the preview.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, all right, we're live, and we've got no concurrent viewers. Oh, what a relief! We can just be ourselves. So,
for those of you who haven't been following, this is Make Now Think Later,
Yep.
a podcast where we talk about the behind the scenes of content creation, kind of the mental game of it, kind of the numbers,
Yep.
and our journey in trying to make it all work.
Mm-hmm. So week by week, we try and give ourselves goals to sort of hit and experiment with, so we can come back to you guys and for ourselves and discuss and get some learnings going.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's been going on this week, Francis?
For me, unfortunately, not too much.
That's all right. It happens.
It's been a slow week.
Yeah.
But for you finally dropped the video.
Oh, I dropped it.
Last week we said you're going to drop it that night, and you are a man who keeps his word.
Was it that night?
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I said it the day before as well to someone. So I'm a man of my word to some people.
So I was lucky enough to be there.
That's right. I'm a man of my word to you.
Okay, that's good. Well, how was that whole process? So you had the video as unlisted.
Yep.
And then you just decided to
I did
go live, right?
Yeah. What I did is I created a reel. I created a couple of reels, but I only posted one that showed a bit of the value in the video first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went live with the YouTube video, posted the reel, and then pretty much just like hands off, and I kind of just went to sleep because it was just like, oh, it's done. The first one's out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't wait to sort of get back into it, start making the next one, because it's so bloody fun. But I was rewatching it, making sure it all made sense. Is anything skipping, or all the audio levels? I was like,
after it was posted?
Not after it was posted.
Oh.
There's no point in that. But right before I put it as like unlisted, I was just like back and forth, but getting the audio levels right and just getting used to Premiere Pro and how they do stuff. Quick tip for those Premiere Pro users: check out something called the Audio Track Mixer. That's a lifesaver. So instead of doing each clip, changing the audio, sorry if this is too technical, but if you do each clip, because you're cutting a bunch of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you do each clip's audio, you're going to send yourself crazy and you're never going to post that thing. What you can do is you can do the whole audio track itself and then go up and down. You can even live watch the video back and then manage it as you go.
Oh, with a fader.
So you can go up and down. It's pretty cool. Anyway.
No.
Tech tip Thursday.
So it sounds like it was a success for you, or you felt like it was a success.
Well, yeah, look, if we're talking numbers, like, I mean, it depends what success means. I haven't looked at sales or anything like that, because that stresses me the fuck out. But it's almost at bloody 100,000 views.
Well, just before we started recording, it hit 100K. Because, we checked it earlier today and it was 98K.
Yeah.
And you got 2K in a few hours.
That's freaking nuts.
There you go.
And it's a different beast to Instagram, right? Because I'm used to Instagram. You post an Instagram post, it either does well or it doesn't. And you get comments that one day or night, and then maybe a few trickle-on ones depending on how well it goes. And then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, cool, all right, I'll reply to those before I post the next one. I'm overwhelmed by the response of the comments on the video. And I'm just thinking, how in the world am I going to reply to all these? Like, I feel fucking terrible because I haven't replied to any yet, because it's just
too many.
Good problem to have, right? Fantastic problem to have, but it's a different beast. Like, you just see the power of YouTube compared to sort of the more fleeting social media platforms. It's like it allows me creatively to go deeper. And in doing that, it allows me to give more value, I guess. And it's what I really want to do is outline this. Maybe we'll do like a deep dive on like eventually on certain pieces of content. But I actually want to do a retrospective on each one of my videos and show where and why I put certain things in. Like, yes, you got the technical side of the actual content of my thought process with the art side of stuff, but then there was a massive part of it, which was how do I keep people engaged with it? Why did I show my work up front in the video? Because I wanted to, like, within the first like 5 seconds, I showed some examples of my work to give people a reason to stick around if they like that kind of stuff. Right. So it's just like little things like that, retention tools. Like it's just, it's a game.
I read one of the comments that said that they usually listen to art YouTubers on like 2x speed, but like you were able to keep them engaged.
Yeah. That's what
with the text and with the, the different things moving on the screen or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You were able to keep people engaged.
There was not very many parts where things were still, but it wasn't like Mr. Beast. Like, today we're going to learn how to draw the head and I'm going to give away $10,000. Well, plus I don't have that money to give away. But I rewatched it many, many, many times, go to sleep, wake up, rewatch it and try and look at it as objectively as I can. I showed it to you and we went through and you said, yeah, this can be cut. Like a whole bunch of it was cut. And I was like, you're right. And then I did that. I cut a bunch of it out and tried to keep the pacing. I reckon pacing is huge. Like what I was really looking for was, where was I getting bored? It's hard to do that if you've watched it like 60 times yourself. But I think you can also, it's a good thing to really just look at the thing that you put out and it's like, all right, where am I getting bored? Or here, okay, what can I do? Can I put a visual here? Because if I cut out all of the visuals and I just had the information, I don't think it would have done as well. And if it was just me talking to camera and then I just put like some of the time lapse of me drawing, that's the kind of content I want to make. I want to weave a little bit of a narrative in with it as well, instead of just like how to do stuff. I really want it to come from my perspective and my way of thinking about stuff, rather than like, I'll do some how to stuff as well. I'm nothing against that. Apparently it does really well from like other content creators I've been talking to, but yeah, no, it's gone. Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking about your content. Like, not too much of it is how to stuff. Like a lot of it is
about how to.
Yeah, it's from a much different angle, right? It's like a how to think, and then coming from that kind of perspective, and that was very much what your YouTube video kind of demonstrated. It was how to think about a certain thing, not exactly how to draw a head. It was like how to think about drawing the head.
Yeah.
And how to like develop your own style for drawing your head.
Because I think that's the most important thing, because it's all well and good. Yeah, cool. You can copy, like I can show you how to draw exactly like me. That's not going to help you if you're trying to find your own style and blah, blah, blah. This wasn't so much about it, style necessarily, even the video. That was like only a small part of that, but it was just a way. I think a big part of it is like permission as well. That whole thing of like, yeah, look at other artists. Figure it, like there's no one strict way of doing things. And that was just, I think I've just got to keep this theme of like consistently learning myself and sharing those learnings. And a big learning from that whole part of like drawing the head, and a big aha moment for me was that there is no one right way, at least for me, if I want to branch out and do more character stylized, sort of fun, sort of kind of drawings and that kind of stuff. So yeah, no, it's wicked fun. Just get it out there, get it going. And yeah, no, it's gone, crazy. Yeah, now it's giving me stress about the next one better be as good.
Yeah, that's always a hard one, isn't it?
It's a good problem to have, but it's like, yeah. But then it's like, okay, what's my measurement of success on a video?
Yeah, I don't feel like that's a good metric to hold yourself to.
And that's why I didn't look at the numbers. Like other people were telling me, and I accidentally had glimpses when I was looking at some of the comments, but I wasn't like refreshing it every 2 seconds, looking at it. Like one of my mates messaged me and he's like, dude, it's blowing up. It's at 30K. Fuck off. Like, no way. And then like, yeah, this morning I was on a meeting with Christian Nee, which some of you might be familiar with. He was like, yeah, dude, it's almost at bloody like 100K. I was like, fuck off. Like and I think that's a thing that I want to keep, is not worrying about the numbers until I'm further away from it. Because in contrast, I did a reel that I spent quite a little bit of time on, like maybe a couple of days, not full days, but just like thinking about it, and it's flopped. So that brought me right back to like, well, it's a journey. It doesn't matter. It's just, and it flops for now. Like reels are different. They can be a slow burn, so it can pick up, but it is what it is, right? What boo-hoo. I didn't get however many views that I thought it was going to get. Am I going to stop posting? No. Am I going to try and do better? Yeah. Am I going to let it get to me and try and burn myself out trying to get the next post? No, it doesn't. All I can do is the best that I can do at that point in time. And that's the best that I could do with the time allotted.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Do better in the next one.
Mm-hmm. Is that kind of the approach you're going to take to these YouTube videos? Are you going to give yourself a time limit?
I'm going back and forth with it because I gave myself a time limit initially to just like, all right, I want to get it done by this date, but it wasn't good enough yet.
Did you push it back?
I pushed it back at like a week and a half. It just wasn't good enough, like to the standard, because I've had practice creating video and I consume a lot of video as well. And I think taking that little bit extra time gives a lot more value in the back end. Like I'll put it this way. I'd rather spend that extra week and a half and have it be a banger video that people actually enjoy and they get something out of, rather than just getting it out, being an okay video. And that's how people will sort of be introduced to my content. Because I got to think that like these videos are the first time people are ever interacting with my stuff, you know? So yeah, I think the time limit is pretty arbitrary, because I'm like, okay, if that was true, if the consistency thing was true, it wouldn't make any sense for my first video to go nuts like it has. You know what I mean? Like if you had to be posting like once every week,
right, yeah,
you know what
those
I mean?
rules, yeah,
those like arbitrary rules,
yeah.
Then why did my first one do so well? If that's the case, you know what I mean? Like it's the quality of the video, and it's going to be there, and it's more of an evergreen archived video that people will hopefully be watching for years to come, versus a reel that people are going to forget about in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
that's the cool thing, I guess, about YouTube is that you have kind of the incentive to go deeper, and you can give yourself permission, because it is going to be more evergreen compared to a reel or compared to a sketch note even. Yeah. Because, you put those out, and then because of the nature of how Instagram and TikTok and all of those work, they only kind of promote your stuff. They're very trendy, right? They promote your stuff in the first few days. Yeah. See how it goes. But yeah, YouTube, people will continue to look at your back catalog and continue to find your stuff.
Well, that's one of the crazy things that I saw from the comments. People were like, oh, I was ready to binge. Like this was like a consistent comment over and over and over again. It was like, oh, I was ready to binge your stuff, but this is your first video.
Just give me stuff to binge.
Can't wait to see you next time. I'm like, fuck, this is interesting. I've had that a little bit. Like I was surprised that people actually copied some of my posts and printed them out. As a PDF. I was just like, what? Oh shit! I've got to make sure all my grammar's right because it's not as fleeting as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, it's a whole different way of thinking about content, which is cool. It gives me room to breathe. It's less quick. It's like, let's think about this and really create the best content that I know how to make at this point in time. And like, I guess like a couple of things, notes from creating it, is that I did a lot of research beforehand about YouTube itself. And I was like, I want to be like a real student of this game, of the whole content game as a whole, but even just like getting into YouTube, because it's a whole different beast. But one of the things that helped me a lot was thinking about the title and the thumbnail first, because that is the gateway to getting people to click on the thing, and then coupling that with a good story structure, something that makes sense and something that's as valuable as possible. and making good on that promise within the first like 10 to 20 seconds of the video
Yeah, of the thumbnail.
of the thumbnail, so it sort of matches what that is. So that could be a good idea generation tool if you're like, oh, what's my next video going to be? If you're starting to do YouTube, what's that thumbnail and title going to be?
Do you have an idea for your next one?
I do.
Yeah? Is that something that we can reveal on the stream? No?
Because it's like, it might be around, like, because it's all going to be around these initial ones, or the struggles that I'm having currently, what I've found. So might be around line weight and like getting nice, like line quality. But it's not going to be how to get good line quality, because it's not just that. I'm gonna showcase some of it. Like, this is my plan, like in my head at the moment, in the Notion document. That's a good thing as well, because I've started going walks more consistently. I have my phone with me. I'll get into Notion because I've got a whole database of all these different content ideas. beneblen.com. You can see my little content list there as well, and you'll probably see this there anyway. But it's thinking about different artists that I've drawn from, pun fully intended, that have helped me, and why more so the why behind a lot of stuff, not just like draw this line here, and then you got a face or a character or whatever. It's also going to be like, well, for example, like TB Choi, she does, this isn't going to make sense to a bunch of people, but she does particular things where she'll draw a thicker line where there's like a cast shadow. It's very like subtle, but it gives a lot of depth to like otherwise like a line drawing. And then I'll talk about why some of these lines are going to help if I want to go and start rendering, or if I want to go and start. Actually, that's a good note. No, I shouldn't write notes midstream.
It's okay. You're going to have this on record. You're going to have this on record.
Oh, no, yeah. We got it recorded. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But yeah, that kind of stuff. And it helps to even just like talk it out like this.
Yeah.
Like, and talking to like if I'm talking to someone, which is oftentimes my younger self, if I wanted to expedite the process, what would I tell myself? Like, don't worry about this, and this. Is this this is the result that you want to get? Give this a shot. But
that's a good reminder.
Yeah.
Because even you saying that just then was like, oh yeah, that is a good way to frame that. Like, yeah, if I could just talk to if I'm thinking about a concept, and then if I could talk to my younger self and teach them, then that might be useful.
Yeah. So but no, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So how are you going to figure out how to kind of build this capacity to create a YouTube video on a schedule? Well, not so much a schedule, but like on a regular
on my
basis.
Version of consistency.
Yeah.
Very in small steps. Because I think it's that initial idea and that thumbnail and title, which is like, it's nice because it's an easy in. It's like, well, what would get me to click on this thing? What intrigues me about that? If I was, say, like 6 months ago looking for this particular problem, what would I click on? All right. And that's a lot easier, at least like cognitively, to take a bite out of.
Yeah.
Versus, now I've got to write a script. Like, what script am I going to write? Because it can then go off in all these different directions. If you've got that initial idea and thumbnail, that title and thumbnail, then you can start creating outlines of where the key beats are going to be, where the key ideas are going to be, what do you want. So I've got all this, and I might even share this Notion document eventually when I've sort of got it a little bit more polished and as I learn about my process more. But again, this is just from one video. The next one could get 2 views. I've got no idea. You know what I mean? You never know. But thinking about what transformation do you want? Not saying like I'm fucking some guru of whatever, but this is what I've heard a lot from editors. What either emotional or I guess is mainly going to be emotional, or like skill-based transition or way of thinking do you want your user to have after watching your video? Where are they at before, and where do you want them to be at the end? Do you want them to feel empowered? Do you want them to feel like relieved? Do you want them to feel empathetic with you? Do you want them to feel heard? Like all those things you can sort of weave in to a whole video, so they're better off for watching your video. And this is all based on educational content. If you're doing news shit, then it's like, oh, what's the current thing? Do your take, and then
well, even that's everything is to get an emotional response, right?
Exactly, and it could be a negative one. It could be, oh, we want to induce fear.
Yeah,
like a lot of these fucking bullshit like AI art shit that you see all the time. Is like, and you don't see too many of them anymore. Even though this shit's getting better, it's just like, that everyone's just burnt out.
It's not very timeless, right? Like, we were looking at some YouTube channels before we were recording, and like, I saw those AI art ones, like videos, and just my eyes just kind of skipped over them because it felt like old news or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. So and thinking about that is, I mean, we could do a whole 6 podcasts on this, like what I've learned or just my research, I guess, from all these different editors, but also looking at other channels outside of my industry for reference. So I got, I can't even remember their names. It's so annoying. Like I can picture them perfectly in my head, but just looking at their editing style, is there something that matches your way of talking? What intrigues you? Like you're starting in this game, or you're already in the game and you're trying to get some idea of how to get more attention on your video. That could be a potential way of doing it. When you're watching YouTube, what makes you click? Why are you still watching this video 5 minutes in? You know what I mean? And making a note of that. I've got like notes and notes and notes of all these different videos that I really liked. I'll like copy the YouTube link, and then I'll say, I like the titles of this one. I like the way that they explain this. I like the graphics of this, and I like the color grading of this other one. I like the audio in this one. That's another thing that I didn't really think of before going through the process, which I'm hoping that this next process is going to be faster, is how the audio and the music can change the whole feel of everything, right? It can go from a real boring looking video to something that brings someone on a journey. So when I was having struggles, I put a piece of music in there that reflected that. Then it transitioned into, I've had a realization. Boom, 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 boom. Then you've got something that's a little bit higher paced, and then it slowly goes up, and then it comes into like a larger, like more relaxed, like, we're getting to a resolution. And then, stop. No, we got the sponsored, and the sponsored video part was fun. The little animated. Frankie boy. He's going to make another appearance because
he makes you money.
He's going to make it. Yeah, but I want to do it with other characters as well. Make characters on stream, and then we'll do it. But he's like, that's an accent that I can do. No, I didn't do it. That was Frank's accent. I don't want to pull the curtain away too much, but
there's a few German people watching. Like,
they're like,
that's a German accent.
Racist. Fuck.
Not that what I just did was a German accent.
Yeah,
we're gonna cut that.
No, it's like, it's just a good bit of fun. Just my personality into it, and it ties back to other videos that I've done as well. So it's
it's really like you know. It's kind of like you build this kind of universe. You know, you got these people following along, and they can kind of see the same things recur in each of your content.
Yeah.
They can be a part of that.
Yeah, that's it. Because, I mean, we came up with that accent. Like, there's a whole backstory to Frank that we made on stream. Like, he was what was he? He's got a lineage of henchmen that has always been like second fiddle to all the bad guys in all these movies. But he doesn't want to be that. He's like a good guy. He wants to go his own path. And it was just a really funny way of creating characters. And so that's the theme that I think I might play with consistently. And we have people like the characters come back maybe and whatever. But it's just a way to have fun with it.
Yeah.
As well, which is, I think, a huge thing with making any piece of content.
I think you have to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what characters are you going to do for your
I mean, like, you joke, but like, seeing you put this out is definitely inspiring, I must say.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, it's like, I want to say this in a way which isn't like, because when I was, when you showed me the video the other day and we went through it and I gave you some notes.
Yeah.
I was like, it inspired me to like make something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like the inspiration, like, I could do better than that. But it was like, there's like creativity expressed in that, like, and it would be cool to be able to put my take on what you're doing.
Yeah.
It would be quite different because, my personality is different than yours.
Yeah.
But it was like, I could see what you were doing and it inspired that feeling in me to like create something similar.
Yeah. And the cool thing is there is a systematic way to approach it as well. It's not like, oh, Ben knows how to edit and make YouTube videos. It's like, no, Ben knows how to research shit and not go out very much and just like pour over like articles and videos and all that sort of shit. Like it can all be learned.
Well, that's key, I think, because you enjoy that researching process, right? And same with me. I enjoy researching things and trying to find the right answers to things and trying to find like little like tips or little pointers or aha things, you know, things that you can kind of implement into your process. So like, I'm just thinking for like the person listening, like they probably need to have that kind of need or like itch that gets scratched from that research, at least to do it in the way that we're thinking of doing it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a million different ways to do this kind of thing.
Yep.
But like the way that we think about this is definitely research kind of like based process.
And it's cool because you hop around, you go the creative side of like making it look and feel good and the pacing and everything. But then there's like the business and the analytical side of my brain that gets itched because it's like, all right, at what point do I need to cut this? Where would this most likely be the best point to put the sponsorship? It isn't I want to give some value before the sponsorship sort of piece. I also want to make the sponsorship fun. I also want to tease what's coming in the video later to keep people hanging around. So I made sure up front to let them know that they're going to get XYZ information very early on in the video. So they're like, all right, I'm already here. Might as well sort of watch it. Hopefully it's more enthusiastic instead of, I'm here. But that's probably what it's going to be. Like, I'm not too precious about it.
Yeah.
That's how I watch YouTube videos. I'm not like, oh, this was a fantastic piece of art. It's like, cool.
Yeah. Oh, I learned something.
Yeah, that's it. And if I can just consistently do that, then hopefully, building up a library of content that's evergreen. And I can see why that the acquisition channel from the business side of things, although I haven't seen the numbers, if there are any, like if there was any uptick in the sales, I can see why it would be super valuable to sink more time into this and eventually hire editors and that sort of stuff to output more high quality stuff, just from a purely business standpoint, because it is a completely different beast.
Yeah,
like the other social platforms, not like the others about. I mean, those platforms are going to keep going no matter what. That's where I've started, but it's very interesting just how people interact with the video, and they'll mention things like that were way later in the video in the comments. Like, oh, awesome, you made it to that that point. You know, like it's and even like another tip as well. Looking like if you can even jot down on a particular video idea what type of comments that you want to get. So it's like, this was a tip from Film Booth. If you want to go check them out on YouTube, it was saying, okay, what type of comments do you want? Do you want like, oh, this was a real aha moment for me, or I didn't know this, or oh, that's a really interesting way of thinking about this particular thing. I've never thought of it that way, or like stuff like that. If you can think about the types of comments that you would like, and then cater your video to evoke that emotion or bring the value that deserves that kind of comment. Yeah, that's not a bad way to think of it as well. Although that wasn't front and center in my mind, it was something that I think I might go for in future videos. Not worried about like the number of comments or anything like that, but yeah, just the type of, again, it comes back to that transformation that you want the viewer to have after watching your video. So, but yeah, no, it's been interesting watching it go, and I want to reply to the comments. I'm going to try my best.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Yeah,
but yeah, like we were talking about potentially, you know, you inspiring me to do it. So, like, there are definitely a few ideas I've had, in just content in general. Yeah, one of the big ones is probably trying to figure out how you break things into components. I think that's a big one I'm thinking about, because that's a problem that I'm trying to figure out also. Yeah, it's like what is the best way to break things up in components so that you can manage, so that it makes sense for them to be structured, so that they're easy to use, so that they are performant. Yep, that kind of thing. Yeah, And like I was looking for resources on that exact topic and I couldn't find too many.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's probably one that I'm heavily considering. But then it's like,
you could write that as like a nice narrative as well.
Yeah.
This is the goal. This is what I want to do. This is why I can't do it the way that I've got it currently. I tried to look for the information, couldn't really find anything. Here's how I solved it. It's like that. You get the problem up front. People know exactly what they're gonna get out of this, and yeah, that's great.
So you would even put that in the narrative, kind of like my dilemma of I can't find the information I'm looking for.
That's one way of doing it. Yeah, it's a very clear value proposition for the. I keep going back to user, but I was in a meeting I had today. I was because I help out at the university here with software design and user interface and user experience and that sort of stuff. There's so many parallels to that and content, because the user, you could think of someone using an app or a piece of software, or the user is someone that's looking at a piece of content as well. Like what's the user experience of this content, of this story? You know what I mean? Of this call to action within the story, right? It's all the same, very, very similar sort of stuff. So I would structure it. And then it comes back to even pitching ideas to someone, putting it through your lens, the problem that you had, how you're going to solve it, whether it be through software or the things that you've discovered through your research, and the final result. And that's the nugget of gold at the end of the Francis Rainbow.
Okay. And I'm the leprechaun.
That's it.
But yeah, there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered. It's very hard, at least in my head. You know, I think you've had a lot of practice in it, but to be able to comprehend and figure out what needs to happen to make the whole video work, or at least like think about all the infinite different ways you can structure the video and then pick one. Yeah. You know, that to me is kind of what is hard.
Yeah. I think like this would be a really fun like live session for us to like even think about the title, thumbnail, how we would structure the video. And I'd almost like recommend for those that don't know, Francis is background in sort of development.
Yeah, programming.
So that's what we're talking about, like components and those types of things. So I would almost start filming something now if I were you, where you've got the problem, and I don't know if you've got the solution yet or you're still trying to figure it out.
Still figuring it out.
I think it could be even more authentic if you get some like even B-roll of you like just filming your screen of like what you're trying to do, or even just while it's just so fresh. I think that could come across. It's like, look, I'm trying to do this thing. I can't quite figure it out yet. There's ways to do it. And this is the plan. And I think that's how a lot of YouTube videos are actually made as well. Like they'll just start filming this. They have a goal up front. They probably got the title and the thumbnail or the general idea, and then away they go, sort of thing. And then at the end of it, you've got all your raw footage, and you can even start to chip away at it small piece by small piece, instead of, okay, I've done the thing. Now I've got to create the content, and now I've got to cut together all this kind of stuff. Like one thing, at least from a tactical way of thinking about the YouTube video, the more footage that you have, the better. The worst thing is if you want to add a piece, then you got to turn the camera back on, and you got to add in that little extra bit. So I'd almost overdo it with what you record and what you share, and then you can always cut it back, fix it in post. You know, like it's a lot easier, at least I found, because I had to turn on the camera. I re-recorded the whole thing. Like I recorded it once and I was like, man, this is shit. Re-recorded it, added bits and pieces that made more sense. But then I had to, where I didn't have me saying certain things, I hit it with an image and then a voiceover through that section. So that was a pain in the ass as well, trying to like get in what I wanted to say while I put an image over, because there wasn't a face to camera thing that I've recorded anyway. So if you can just get all that out the way, and I went off script so much, like it's nothing like what I wrote in the script as well. So I think it's just a matter of testing it out, what way works for you. But I would highly recommend get an intro out, not just have it there for when you can always redo it later. But even like piecing it together as you go, and like you might find another sort of fork in the road where it's like, yeah, that's a cool angle that I could take this project in general, and then the YouTube video has a turn. It's like, oof, this is a piece of software that I found, boom, 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 which you might not have thought about putting in after the fact, once all the components are all sorted and all pretty and it's all sort of squared away. So yeah, no, it's so many ways to do it, man.
Yeah, hearing all that, I feel like one of the biggest things I need to sort out first is kind of get a good taste of what I would like in videos, like
Definitely
in your what you did in your early researching phase, because I'm not exactly sure what my style is yet. I think I'll know it when I see it.
Yeah.
But I need to see many different things to get there.
Yeah.
So not just see what I like, but see what I don't like.
Yeah.
And kind of steer away from those.
That's the key one. Knowing what you don't want to be.
Yeah.
Like for me, I didn't want to be like, this isn't a knock on any one particular thing, but like have that facade of someone else. Like it was higher energy because I wanted to keep up the pace of the video and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't want to be like quintessential YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube-y, you know what I mean? Like
the video was very you, I must say. I think you did a good job.
Okay, that's what I felt, and I was happy about it. And I was like, I got to the point where I was excited about putting out.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, it's not good enough, not good enough. There's like that tipping point where it's like, oh, it's getting there. Just needs this tweak. And then I kind of just got burnt out a little bit, and I was just like, I'll just post it. I'm excited to get it out. It's good enough. Go.
Yeah. When it's time, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. But no, I'm excited to see your video. That's going to be wicked.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even. We're just talking about the early stages.
That's all right,
there's no commitment here, but
that would be really interesting to actually map out what that looks like. Like from this first conversation, it's like, okay, what could that title be? Like, what could that thumbnail be? What's the whole story arc of it before I even work? Because I wrote the script and everything while I was doing that sort of video research. Or they were in parallel. So I would just be watching things, add it to my resources list, and then just keep going back and forth, and just adding things as I went. And then I just sat down one day, recorded, thought it was shit, came back the next day, recorded again, and then I did B-roll in different days as well. Like if I thought, oh, this would be cool if it was like an over-the-shoulder shot with like time-lapse of me actually working on the thing. It's like a completely other day. I didn't even bother putting the same shirt on, like for consistency or whatever. It was just like after the gym, I was just like, fuck it, just do it. No one cares.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Yeah. From my gut feeling, I feel like I need to have enough of the concept in my head where I can kind of feel that I have a unique take on it that I'm excited about. And I don't feel like I have that yet, you know.
Yep.
You know, where you have that kind of idea in a bottle and like, oh, I can see the potential of this.
Yeah,
and it kind of gets you going.
You start spinning.
Yeah.
What about this? Oh, that'd be cool. Good idea. Yeah, like in your head. Yeah,
that's what I need first. But to get there, I think you need research and you need to think about the problem a bit. But I haven't thought about it enough.
Yeah. But that's a cool one though. The components and having that clear problem. Because you could even think about this from like our software background. Of like, what's the core problem that we're trying to solve with this video from an education standpoint? Because I mean, it's like, are we just adding effects and features and clips and paragraphs that are just fluff, or is it like solving that core problem? All that stuff's nice, but without that core problem that you're solving, kind of like in this particular context of these educational videos, that could be a good thing to think about it, as you're saying, getting clear on your take on the problem itself, because it is easy to go off and because I had the problem of, oh, I should really mention this. I should probably mention this because art stuff is so intertwined. Yeah. Like, where do I stop? So I had to kind of, I was what we call feature creeping the video a little bit. So you're putting like, oh, what about this feature? What about that feature? I was like, oh, what about this topic? What about that topic? And then it just, what I thought was going to be like a 20-minute video cut down to like an 8.5-minute video.
Yeah, that was one of the original notes I had on yours, right? Like, it was hard to follow the narrative of what this video was actually saying, you know, and because it almost felt like you needed like a table of contents to see where you were.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, but the way you edited it in the final product, it was very clear. I thought. Yeah. Like, you really found the narrative.
And I didn't I didn't change too much of the core recordings. It was just rearranging.
Yeah.
Which is a cool thing. Like you can completely change the story and the engagement and the retention just through editing itself. And cutting the fluff, really. There's this saying like kill your darlings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I kill them all the time.
Oh, dude, there's a graveyard of all my darlings. YouTube, that is a analogy. It is not real. This is not a no. But yeah, there's things that I wanted to put in there that looked cool. I did like a whole B-roll thing of like when I did the like the gambling, like my drawing sessions feel less like a gamble. I had the whole thing of like the cards coming in, and then there was like me picking it up, and then there was me like looking down, and then there was me looking at the bad drawing day, and then I didn't need all that shit. I just like cut bad drawing day, damn. Cut it out. It just
There's a good feeling when you're doing that, right? Because it feels right?
Yeah.
Like you find the right place to cut things, and it's like, oh, that's clean.
Yeah.
I don't need to touch
There's
that
a little
anymore.
bit of a mourning of like, oh, that's a shame. Toodaloo. Let's continue.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, that's exactly. 'Cause you don't know. That's what I was saying. Like, I'd rather have too much than not enough to play with.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm keen.
Francis, the YouTuber. Yeah, am I a YouTuber now?
I mean,
when do I get my?
I think you're a YouTuber, right? You have a video on YouTube.
My license.
That's what I always say. Like you've done the thing, so you must be a YouTuber. You've drawn art, so you must be an artist.
I can say that to people now.
Yeah.
I mean, I do YouTube and Instagram.
Subscribe. Wait till you get that plaque in the mail.
Oh man, I think you actually have to pay for that now.
Really?
I think you have to request that.
Oh, okay.
Here's me thinking about fucking.
You've already done all the research.
Yeah, that's gonna.
You're gonna put that on pre-order.
Yeah. It's not a bad if you believe in the manifesting shit and whatever. Like, yeah, just prepare for the success. But no, that's like a nice little pat on the back. Cool, but you're only going to get there if you put the good content out there. So
yeah.
So what else has been going on? I think that's all that's been happening in my world. I've just got I've been doing the streams. There's an interesting thing. The streams bumped up from that video. So the average viewers that were watching was higher, which makes sense. But yeah, no, keeping up with the streams, which has been fun. But so to give some context, in the streams at the moment, I've been contracted by a company called 3D Total, which runs a magazine called Character Design Quarterly. And they've asked me to do like a tutorial, like a 15-section tutorial piece for their magazine. I was like, okay, cool. Can I stream this? I was like, yep. They're like, cool. Yep. Got all the permissions and everything. Cool. So I can stream it. Streaming contract work is not the most efficient way of getting the work done. So I'm kind of like, this weekend, I've just got to knuckle down and not stream and just get the thing 95% done and then finish it off on stream on Monday.
What is it about it? Is it that you're interacting with chat? Is it because the camera's on?
Because it's a very cognitive, it may not seem like it to people that haven't done drawing or anything like that, but it's very cognitively taxing thing because you're making all these micro decisions.
Yeah.
Like I find it akin to programming because in programming, you've got to hold a few things in your head at one time.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're bouncing around files and you're like, okay, this pipes into here, this pipes into there. And then if someone breaks your concentration, it then takes you away and it might take 15, 20 minutes to get back into the zone of where it was sort of like humming along quite nicely. Same thing with drawing and painting. Like I'm looking at, okay, what value, like the light, the brightness, just you can even think about this on a stroke by stroke basis. How light and how dark is this stroke going to be? How warm or cool is this going to be? What color is it going to be? And what shape is it going to be? All in like a split second, you're going to be like, put it down. Yes or no, boom, put it down. And then someone stops you. And then you've got lost context of that part that you were doing, which is fine. Like that's the game. I love it. I really enjoy it. So it's nothing wrong with it. But it was a great idea when the deadline was really far away. So yeah, no, I'll get it done. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it was really, it's good. I want to do more of that, but on my own time,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing. So it was a 3-word prompt that I was doing, and I had to create a character. But I put work on myself. I did a whole scene. They didn't ask me to do a whole scene. They said, you can just do a character if you want. I was like, okay. But I want to learn backgrounds.
Yeah, you got to
So I was just like,
you got to
I'll
enjoy it,
challenge
right?
myself.
Yeah.
But that deadline was really far away. So, yeah, we'll figure it out. But no, I want to do more of those challenges because I've got to catch up with that. I think last week I mentioned the draw this in your style.
Yeah.
I've got to catch up with posting some of those because people are coming through with some awesome draw this in your style ones on Instagram. So they're going to be in the stories as well.
You think you're going to collect it into like a video or like a reel or something?
I would love to do something like that because there's a sketch note coming for that particular character. I want to see how I can promote their hard work in that somehow. But there's only 10 slides.
Yeah.
So I want to give value. So there's like this two. Maybe it's a reel. Maybe it's
yeah. It's kind of hard with that format, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I've still got to figure that out. But I would like to. Well, it's just like a big thank you to everyone, and I'll just pick my favorites. But I don't like doing that. 'Cause it's like I don't like picking favorites. You know.
Yeah. Can't kill those darlings.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But no, don't kill other people's darlings.
Nah.
That's I'm not about that.
Might be crossing some boundaries.
Yes, definitely. No, but everyone that's done it, it's freaking awesome. Like they've done full scenes that are in a different perspective. Like because it was an astronaut with his little like character stuck to the back of his helmet, and they were looking at something that was like freaking him out, and someone like painted a thing that was freaking them out.
Cool. Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. It's like the story. So, but yeah, that's I think that's all I've got going on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think. How long? Where are we?
That's probably a good place to stop then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Duncan. Duncan's in chat. Good afternoon, sir. Muppets giving unsolicited advice. Dude, you got to stop beating yourself up about that. That was very, very helpful advice. It was fantastic. So Duncan helped us out with learning some tools in Photoshop.
Oh yeah.
It was wicked because there's stuff I didn't know. And this particular one, it's going to make no sense, but I'm going to say it anyway. The line tool to do really simplified shapes. It was just one switch because I couldn't figure it out. I was like, this guy called Rob Ruppel. He said that he did this thing to get like this certain effect with the background, just using this one tool. So it's very simplified. I couldn't figure out why mine wasn't looking like his. It was literally just one button, changing it from like a vector shape to like a pixel. And it just sped up the process so much, and it just gave me a whole bunch of freedom. And yeah, no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, Duck. It was awesome. So cool. But yeah, it's my critique of myself with the streams is just don't maybe try to keep simpler contract things if they allow me to stream rather than
that's too complicated
doing stuff while I'm trying to figure it out under deadline. That's the issue. But no, that stuff has helped me out a bunch, Duncan. So I thank you very much for that.
Yeah,
it was awesome. And I think, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that's a place to stop.
Yeah. So yeah, next week, what are you going to have content wise?
Next week,
what are we working on?
What am I working on? I think that's
yeah, don't have to get anything out or whatever, but yeah.
I'm working on continuing this keep on rebuild.
Yep.
There's a few things I want to. Well, I just want to get it done, but that's going to take a while. So while that's going on, I do want to have some content out. I'm thinking about a couple of tweets or a couple of pieces of content, whether it's tweets or something. One probably on React server components and
I want to see that one.
Yeah, it's still the details need to be figured out. Don't have it in my head right now. I do want to write another article in Substack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a while.
Yep.
But I've got a concept in my head. I just need to get my hands
Just
in
tell
front of the keyboard.
ChatGPT it. It'll do it for you.
No, it'll sound too dry. That thing you can't give it that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It sounds horrible, at least to me.
That's good.
Yeah. But yeah, that's coming up. So there are a couple of things I want to get done, and hopefully we'll have them done by next week.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing about it.
Yeah. Get me accountable.
That's it. Duncan, when is the magazine issue out? I'm not sure yet. It's I've got no clue if they're going to do it in the next quarter or the quarter after. They'll let me know if and when it's coming out. But yeah, I'll post it on socials and whatever. So no, it's exciting. Cool. We end it there.
Let's end it
Short
there.
And sharp.
Short and sharp.
Beautiful. Thanks for popping in, Duncan, and the 3 others, probably 2, because I think one of us is here. But no, I appreciate everyone.
Yeah.
For popping in anyway, and for those that have popped in after, we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.
Catch ya.